It's a Stephen King book that Hollywood has tried to spend decades making. Did director Francis Lawrence pull it off? Welcome to Movie World Plus, a place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and Stephen King movies, man, it's a whole genre in itself. Some of them really work. Shawshank Redemption, one of my favorite films of all time. I got the poster here. Stand By Me. I would say Misery. The Shining. I know Stephen King doesn't like it, but I do. And then you got a lot of bad ones like Dreamcatcher. Oh my gosh. Thinner. What is your favorite and worst Stephen King movie? I want to hear it in the comments down below. I hadn't actually heard a lot about this film, to be honest. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know much about it. And then I saw the reviews, and a lot of critics were raving about it, comparing it to Stand By Me and Shawshank Redemption. So I thought, okay, I'll check out this screening. Let's see how it is. And I have to say, I did enjoy it, but it's very heavy. It's very depressing. It's an intense movie. If you're unfamiliar with the book was it was Richard Bachman, his pen name, after Carrie became a hit. Some of these other movies unearthed themselves, these books rather. The Long Walk was one of his first books, 1979, as Richard Bachman. In a future America, the marathon is the ultimate sports competition, a novel of chilling, macabre possibility. It is very similar to The Hunger Games, and this is pre-Hunger Games, but the concept of the book, and thereby the movie, is this world where basically the world's youth, I think the book has 100, but they whittle it down to 50 for the movie. I think it's only 50 in the movie. And they must go on a walk. If they stop, they are given a warning. They're then given a second warning. On the third warning, they're gone. They are given their ticket, is what they call it. And they sort of bring up to this moment, but when the first ticket is taken, it is graphic, it is intense, and that's basically what this movie is. I could sell this movie probably much better if I didn't tell you a lot about what it's about, but I also think it's kind of important you know what it's about going into it, because it's intense. It's about an hour and a half of kids dying. That's really what this movie is, because they are in this competition. They cannot stop walking. They must keep walking. And the last survivor who walks the farthest ultimately wins all the rewards, cash prizes in a world that no one can afford anything, as well as their greatest wish, any wish they want, and endless wealth is how this works. The motivation for this whole thing is, we're going to go through the kids in a second, Mark Hamill plays the general who is sort of explaining how important this march is and how it's inspiring the world to not be so lazy, to get off their butts, and that work production is always better after the long walk. People are motivated by it, et cetera, et cetera. That's sort of the justification of this dystopian world as to why it's okay to, take out these children. I never understand Hunger Games, all these types of movies. How could society get this far? And then I watch the news and I'm like, I guess it's possible. It's seeing how dumb some people are in following certain things and how extreme political parties can be on all sides. But back to the movie. The movie, I have to say, is really well done. That's the story. I've never seen a movie where the actors had to walk this much. Apparently they were walking 15 to 30 miles a day while filming. They cannot stop the whole movie while they're talking, while they're engaging, anything that's happening. They are at a pace the entire movie, and they can't stop, because if they stop, they're out of the movie. It's a very interesting premise. It's an intense premise, as I explained to you. But what's more interesting about it is the sort of Stand By Me element. It definitely shares some vibes of Stand By Me more than Hunger Games, but it's got the Hunger Games vibe in that, it's that dystopian kind of plot point. But I would say it's definitely more Stand By Me with more elements of more grisly Stephen King mental horror, if you will. That's really what this film is going for. And in that way, it oddly does work. It works because the cast is great. I actually wasn't really familiar with any of these actors. They were all kind of nobodies to me. And then I went and looked a couple of them up, and I recognized them from other projects. The two main stars are here. And do you know who this kid is? This is Cooper Hoffman. And I had no idea who Cooper Hoffman was. Take a good look. The last name will trigger it. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. And I didn't even realize this watching the whole movie. I'm like, who is this kid? He's pretty good. And then I went down a whole wormhole to remember about just how sad the loss of Philip Seymour Hoffman is, how much he clearly loved his kids, and how he is now taken after his father and acting, getting these opportunities. And Francis Lawrence, who did the film and did a bunch of Hunger Games films, worked with Philip Seymour, his father. Nice full circle. That was over like 11 years ago we lost Philip Seymour, such an actor. My God, so damn sad. But it's really nice to see his son stepping up and doing a good role in this film. He has a good, he does a really good job. His buddy in the film, Pete, the actor, I remember him from Alien Romulus. He was the android in the Alien Romulus. His real name here is David Jonsson. I really liked him as well. These two are clearly sort of the standout characters. There's a lot of other supporting characters that are great, not trying to single anybody out. But the film, as the poster implies, sort of surrounds itself around these two in the race. And what's going to happen and how far will they go and which ones, if any, are going to make it, etc., along with all the other characters along the way. The interesting thing about the film is that as dark as the premise is, they ultimately all like want to help each other more than push each other out of the race. You'd expect a lot of, shenanigans where someone's trying to push the other one out. But no, these people find solace trying to build friendships as they're on this walk that's seemingly never going to end. They don't want to go out, pushing each other out of the way. They want to go out of this race, this walk, if you will, supporting one another. And it's an interesting, twist on the story that you'd expect a lot of badness. And there's a few moments, don't get me wrong, I don't want to spoil things, but overall, yeah, the general's bad, the world is chaos, and those moments where the people fall, it's grisly, man. It's brutal as you're waiting for the warning 2, get up, warning 3. And, you got scenes where people's feet just they've crooked. They're like they can't walk anymore. It's done. And then to see these soldiers just march on up and do what they got to do, take their ticket, it's intense. So that it's hard to watch that, for a good time. But I will say, as extreme and intense as it is, there is an odd sense of hope in a way about as you learn these boys and they give the script. It's pretty well done, I have to say. I was impressed by this film. I didn't expect to enjoy such a dark film, and I would definitely put this on the list of good adaptations. Now, granted, I haven't read it, but just good movies by Stephen King. This one definitely would be on that short list, I think, because it's not a huge list, and as dramatic ones go, I think this one definitely would be on the top 10 or what have you of adaptations, and the critics seem to agree as well. The Long Walk opens in theaters this weekend. Walk or Die. Definitely trying to make it seem like some Walking Dead type of thing here, but overall, be prepared. It's Stand By Me meets The Hunger Games. But I would say, I think it was a little bit more, what's the word? Just smarter than The Hunger Games, if you will. Not a huge fan of The Hunger Games movies. They definitely stretch. This is a nice, and it is like an hour and 48 minutes. There it is. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but it's intense at times. But Mark Hamill plays a real jerk. But there it is. That's the film. Check it out this weekend. If that sounds appealing to you, make sure to stay on pace and make sure to be prepared for the intensity. What is your favorite Stephen King adaptation? And if you've seen this over the weekend, come back and let me know how you think it fares to other ones. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all alerts to hear to Movie World Plus, my movie channel. And stay tuned. We got a lot more reviews coming your way here on Movie World Plus.